I see this question so often in the Axie community, especially among beginner players, because it's kind of tricky to get your head around how stun works in Axie Infinity. I'm going to answer that for you right here in this video. Welcome back to Axie on Top, where I talk everything Axie, and let's get right into it. So stun is a debuff. This is the icon of what stun looks like if your Axie is stunned. It will cause the next attack to miss or the next incoming attack to ignore shield. There are currently 3 cards in the Axie game that will cause stun. They are Tiny Turtle, which is a reptile mouth, Snail Shell, which is a bug back, and Fish Snack, which is a bug tail. Get very familiar with these 3 cards, especially the Tiny Turtle and the Snail Shell, because you're going to see this a lot in the arena. It is such a popular debuff to use because it is so powerful. To activate Tiny Turtle, you need to have at least 2 other cards comboed with this card. To activate Snail Shell, it's a defending card, so stun attacker if this Axie shield breaks and can only trigger once per round. And you see these 2 cards in a bunch of Terminator builds. This is a prime example of why Terminators are just so effective and so hard to play against. You really have to use your mind to really be able to outplay them. And finally, we have Fish Snack or anesthetic bait. This is less seen in the current arena. It only applies stun when it's attacked by an aquatic or bird class card, and it can only trigger once per round. So Snail Shell and Fish Snack are both defense cards, meaning that the stun triggers when the opposing Axie attacks into you, and Chomp is how you can control stun, where you place a stun onto the opponent's Axie. This is what they look like on an Axie. So this is Snail Shell up here, this is Tiny Turtle or Chomp, and this is anesthetic bait or Fish Snack. So let's go further into what the stun does. If a stunned Axie attacks, it will miss. So one way to counter this is to use a 0 cost card to remove the stun. The effect of that 0 cost card does not trigger. This is very important. If a stunned Axie gets attacked, that attack actually goes through the shield and damages the HP directly. Just remember this with stuns. The stun lasts until something interacts with the stunned Axie. It doesn't just go away on its own. You're going to see a bunch of strategies utilizing the stun, and most common, aside from the Terminator build, is using Chomp with a high damage card. This is an incredibly popular combo. For example, using a Chomp Thorny. What does this do? The first Chomp is going to apply the stun. The second Chomp is also going to apply a stun. And this second Chomp is going to actually go under the shield, go through the shield and damage the HP directly because of the stun from the first Chomp. And finally, because the Axie is still stunned from our second Chomp, we have Thorny Caterpillar to finish it off. It deals 130% damage to debuffed targets. Stun is a debuff, and when it's debuffed, it triggers the Thorny. That is a nasty combination. You can actually pair this with any high damage card after the Chomp. It's going to do massive damage under the shield. That's key. Another very common combo frequently used is 3 card combos, because of course you need 3 cards in total to activate the Chomp ability. Don't forget about that. But they end with Chomp. So there is a ton of outplay ability. You can mess up their Toothless Bite. You can mess up their Tri-Spikes, backdoor options. This is a very powerful maneuver against those pesky backdoors. Finally, you also have Chomp that's followed by a 0 cost utility card, such as Cuckoo and Buttons. And the reason why this is so powerful is because let's say you play your 3 card combo, but you don't want to spend 3 energy just to stun the enemy. You can combo the Chomp with 1 or 2 0 cost cards and stun the enemy with only 1 energy, maybe 2. The advantage of using a utility card such as Cuckoo after a Chomp means that you're still going to get that attack buff on the attack that comes next on your Axie. Oftentimes, depending on the Axie order, you can also end with a Chomp. The opponent is stunned, and your next big attack on your other Axie that attacks into that stunned Axie is going to go under the shield. That's another way to use Chomp. Let's take a look at a live gameplay example. I'm attacking into this Axie with a Chomp, a Cuckoo, a Thorny Caterpillar, and another Chomp. And the reason why I order the cards this way is this. My first Chomp is going to apply a stun. The Cuckoo is going to apply an attack buff. That is also going to apply onto the Thorny. Now, because the Axie is stunned, it's going to get not only the Cuckoo attack buff, but it's also going to get its effect triggered, plus 30% damage. And I end with a Chomp that's going to leave them stunned. So now let's take a look at what happens. So I Chomp, applies the stun, I get the attack buff up, it goes under their shield, remember, see they still have this 37 shield, and I end with the stun. Now they are going to use, let me pause it right here. Do you see that they use a Grass Snake? This is their 0 cost, the lowest damage card. It doesn't apply any additional poison to me, but it's going to skip that card because it just missed. That's going to remove this stun so they can get maximum damage with their Garish Worm and Chomp. Let's see what happens here. There's the damage. There's the Chomp. I'm stunned this time. What do? I play Cuckoo, which is my 0 cost. But notice that when I play the Cuckoo, it doesn't give me attack buff up because I'm using it to get rid of the stun. Essentially, my Cuckoo missed, but it also got rid of the stun. Then I finish off with my Croc and Thorny. And that is how it's done. Hopefully this was helpful for you and you were able to understand how stun works. If you like this content, remember to hit that like button below so it tells me you enjoy it. I'm going to make more of this type of content, and I will see everyone in the next one. Bye for now.